and welcome to week 3. What role am I looking for? In this week, we're going to be looking at competencies, CV profile, values, and personalities. But before we actually start this week, I'd like to just do a recap really on the previous week, where we were looking really more at our personal strengths and transferable skills. So if we just do a recap from last week first, really I want to look at how you've progressed really on those actions. One of the actions, if you recall, was to list your strengths. Now, we did conduct a personal SWOT analysis in the previous week, so this should have really helped you to be able to identify what your strengths are. Something else that will really help you as well is actually asking somebody else. Somebody maybe that we've worked with in the past, a friend or a family that knows us, and actually ask them what they think we're good at. This can be a very valuable exercise because sometimes we might be more critical of ourselves. But by getting feedback from somebody that knows us quite well, this can really assist in our development. We can actually think, oh, I didn't realise that they saw me in this light and that they thought that I was good in this area, for example. And it can be quite the boost that we need sometimes to actually help us along. So they were that was one of the actions for you to do. Another action that we were looking at as well would have been your transferable skills. If you recall in the previous week that I've mentioned that these transferable skills, they're not static. They don't stay with past jobs. These are part of us. So they move from job to job as we move from job to job. So it's very important that we identify that these are transferable. These skills do not stay and stand alone. They move with us. So we want to be able to make sure that we can learn really how we can adapt these skills to actually move when we're going on to another job. And really, I suppose the other area we were looking at was to list your achievements. Now, we're very used to really when we're devising a CV to actually look sometimes at responsibilities, what we have been responsible for. What we're asking you here is to look at what you have achieved. I hope you can see the difference here. They're quite distinct really, because your achievements is something that you have been good at, that you have excelled at, for example. Can you see how important that is for a prospective employer to be able to identify with as well? If we know what our achievements are, we're saying, look, this is what we are capable of doing in the future as well. Okay, so it's very important that we do these actions because all in all, they are helping us in our development. So I hope you're getting on well with these actions. Okay, so as mentioned, in this, we're actually looking at our role in particular, what role we're looking for. So this week, we're going to be looking at more on CVs. We're going to be looking at devising personal profile. And then we're going to be looking at matching your profile to a role. But what's very important is identifying what role am I looking for? What would suit me? What would suit me based on myself, my personality, but also on my technical experience, for example. So it's very important that we spend some time on this area because really, if you can relate to this, it really would limit and really have a big impact on us in the area of the rejection cycle. Because if we really match ourselves properly to the right job to start off with, we should really be eliminating this rejection cycle, which can be quite damaging to us psychologically. So the competencies for a role, we need to be able to break these down, to be able to identify what they are. Think about what you think of a competency is, something that you are able to do. Now, you're competent in something. So it shows really that you are good at that. Okay, so these are the things that we want to really be able to identify in. So what are the competencies or transferable skills required for your target role? So really, this is really getting us thinking about what our target role actually is, which is a very important start. But then we need to be able to break down what competencies, what do we need to be able to do to actually be successful in this particular role? What skills do we need to be able to have that we can actually bring to this role as well? What will help you here is looking at example advertisements, for example, And here we will look and be able to identify what the common requirements are for that particular role. Okay, so the more research we do, the better. Okay. So the competencies for a role, these competencies, again, this word it keeps coming back, is transferable. Okay, and they include things like, for example, focusing on results. Now, if you were an employer and you were interviewing somebody that focused on results and achieved those results, wouldn't that be very attractive to you? Yes, and that's exactly how our prospective employers look at it as well. Okay, so if this is something that we are competent in, we need to be able to really highlight this. Communication skills. Now, a lot of people seem to put the communication skills, I'm an excellent communicator, in their personal profile. Okay, that's really very, very good, but we need to be able to back that up. We need to be able to give experiences on when and how we communicate effectively. Project management skills. If you can imagine the start towards the end of a project, there's so many different skills and competencies that would be needed on just this area alone. For example, managing budgets, managing people, managing schedules, being able to deal with conflict, for example, and crises that may occur, and how you handled those problem-solving situations and how you made decisions. So many competencies and skills, even in this one area. Customer service, very, very similar in being able to deal with customer complaints, customer inquiries, how you've handled pressurized situations, for example. A lot of the time, these are going to be how you've handled them face to face or over the phone, for example. Very, very important that we really break these down to find out what we have been able to do and what we are able to do in the future. Financial management, again, looking again at your budgets, looking at your capacity there with your numeracy. And then sales and marketing. Sales, for example, the targets that you've achieved, the deadlines that you've achieved them in. Marketing, the whole plan, the whole structure of how you actually advertise, for example, and how effective that plan was in actually reaching your desired audience. Technical skills, accounting, your information technology skills. You know, a lot of us might have these, sometimes we might just pop them into the additional information, but if we're actually going for a role that requires certain amount of specific skills, we need to make sure that we have these identified. Okay, so let's go look at an example here. Okay, this is an example for a customer solutions agent in Dublin. So we're looking really at the competencies, and I'll just read it through to start off with. So as a teammate within customer solutions, your primary responsibilities will be assisting our customers in helping to resolve their inquiries. By using the latest in modern communication and technology tools, you will be able to provide our customers with accurate answers to their questions in both a quick and helpful manner. As a frontline teammate, you will be the primary point of contact for our customers. It is critical that you help provide them with predictable, compassionate, and timely resolution to their questions and inquiries while maintaining a positive and friendly attitude. A teammate within customer solutions exhibits strong communication skills, excels at customer interaction, exhibits creativity and skill in delivering practical solutions, and thrives in quick-paced and collaborative team environment. Now, there's a lot in that to start off with, isn't there? Okay, so what we need to do is take a breather, take a step back, and actually go back into it again. And what we've done for you here is that we've actually done that just to make it easier for you and to help you in your future in being able to identify the competencies within a role. So it's exactly the same, but what we've done is we've put the bold on here so that you can see where these core competencies lie. So for example, teammate, assisting our customers, resolve their inquiries, using the latest in modern communication and technology tools, predictable, compassionate, and timely resolution, positive and friendly attitude. And then the last paragraph, then, as a teammate within customer solutions, exhibits strong communication skills, excels at customer interaction, exhibits creativity and skill in delivering practical solutions, and thrives in quick-paced and collaborative team environment. So really, we want to be able to bring now how we can actually match that. Now, ideally, we'd be bringing that from our past experience, but in some situations, what is very also effective, and this is for some people that think, well, I haven't got a huge amount of experience. But what I think really comes across very well is that if you haven't, to be able to say, this is how I would react in this situation. And then you can give examples of how you believe you would react. This gives an insight into your knowledge in that you are aware of this area and you've explained that well. So really, we're going to look at here how to create a CV profile. We're going to look at this first one here. And really, what I'd like you to do here is I'd like you to think of 10 words or phrases you'd use to describe how you work. For example, do you work in a focused manner? Collaborative, where you're bringing in, for example, other people? Are you results driven? Is that really what your core is? So other things you might look at, for example, would be helping people or supporting people, or writing reports, for example. So these are things you want to describe how you actually work. What's very, very important is identifying what role you are targeting. It's really, really important that we are honest to ourselves here, as I've mentioned before. Otherwise, we are really just putting ourselves down the rejection cycle if we're not completely honest in this, and really try to match ourselves up as best as possible. So what kind of sectors, industries have you worked in? Now, in some areas, in some sectors and industries, they really do require that you have, for example, experience of a regulated environment for some industries, and they want you to have that, And sometimes, even at the agency, if we don't have that, we don't get past that first hurdle. So sometimes it is quite cut and dried, but in others it's not. And therefore lies this whole aspect again of transferability. So let's look now at listing 3 things that you are particularly good at. What are these 3 things? If you could just make a note of these now and actually write them down. Okay. We're going to look at another CV profile, profile 2 here. What kind of responsibilities have you had in the past? For example, have you managed a budget? Have you organised a team? What responsibilities have you had? This is in your past experiences. And here it's very, very important to use superlatives like excellent or strong or proven or committed or passionate about, for example. But whilst you're doing that, it is also crucial that you make sure that it is you that you are referring to, and that you're not using just cutting and pasting from somewhere. We want to really make sure that this is us that we are explaining. Otherwise, it can be quite a letdown when it comes to the interview situation. They're thinking, oh, you don't actually come across as how you sound on your CV. So we need to be honest to ourselves as well. Now we're going to do an exercise in a moment. I want you to try writing your own profile, writing or revising. For some of you, you have your personal statement, and it's a case of maybe tweaking it a little bit, because every job we're going to be going to, we are going to be changing our CV. It's very, very important that you understand that. We need to change our CV for every job we're going to. Otherwise, we're just randomly sending in CVs for jobs that really aren't properly matched to us. Okay, so it's very, very important that we get much more specific in our job search. So before you actually do the exercise, let me just go through and give you some. These are some examples of, this is the CV profile 1. I am committed and focused with a background in customer service teams, acting as the primary point of contact to customers in a busy commercial environment. I have a strong track record of delivering sympathetic support, resolving inquiries both face-to-face and via communications technology tools. I enjoy customer interaction, create imaginative solutions to problems, and relish working in a fast-paced team environment. As you can identify here, and even if you refer back to previous slides, that you can see that we really have matched ourselves really, really well with what they're looking for. A CV profile example 2, an experienced customer service agent working in a team environment with a proven track record in delivering compassionate support using communication technology tools, strong inquiry resolution experience in a busy commercial environment with great communication skills, a love of customer interaction and excellent collaboration skills, demonstrated ability in imaginative problem solving, awarded Customer Service of the Month award 3 times. Here what we're doing is we're bringing in what's called metrics. And really, metrics is a kind of a measurement of our achievements. And this is quite interesting if you can actually start even looking at this. And especially what I referred back to before in sales and marketing, for example, and in customer service as well. But you can really, in all of those areas, in your project management, we can always give metrics, as in, for example, the amount of the budgets that we were managing, the number of people maybe that we were managing, and the time span that we managed that project in as well. These are all really components of metrics, and metrics are a measurement of your achievements in the past. What we're going to be carrying on with now will be looking at values and what these values are. But I hope that you will actually go and do the exercise and either create a new personal profile or revise your old one.